Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tagline podcast, where I, your host, the Meerkat Monarch, and my very good friend,
Gene, the Angry Penguin. How are you doing, everyone?
and this week, sorry for not being around the last the last month or so. Yes,
Yeah, give or take.
yeah, it's been a busy time for me, and we thought we'd give you like a 30-minute run through of our Christmas movie favorites, basically. I
Yeah,
realize that my title is just Christmas movie. I have no idea why I didn't put the S at the end there. Never mind.
Christmas movie. We are here to talk about Christmas movie. Uh, no, and it's that time of year, and everybody has those discussions about what is your favorite classic Christmas films. And for me, the first one that always pops into my head is Die Hard. Uh, but we could talk endlessly about that and not say anything new.
Yeah, yeah. We might be joined by someone as well, because he just sent me a message.
A
Artemis Ira.
mysterious guest.
Yes, Artemis Ira. But I rewatched Scrooged this week. And, oh man, I'd completely forgotten how good that movie is.
I watch it every year. I watch it every single year, just because that is, as much as I love some of the like National Lampoons, Christmas Vacation, and some of the other Christmas movies, A Christmas Story, and those. Scrooged is just wonderful.
Yeah.
It's the one I make sure I watch every year. Uh, just because it's the retelling of the classic uh, Charles Dickens.
Yeah, a Christmas Carol,
Yes,
which they several times refer to in that movie as just Scrooge, which is kind of wrong, but it's Hollywood, so you can't really be mad at him either.
well, to give people who haven't seen the movie some background, Bill Murray plays Cross, Frank Cross, who is a television producer,
Yeah.
and his studio is putting out for the holidays an epic live performance of A Christmas Carol, or Christmas Carol, and he is the modern equivalent of the Scrooge character. You know, so the as they are making this big production, and he's going through all this stress, he's also being visited by three friendly spirits.
Yeah, friendly.
I don't know. The Ghost of Christmas Future is the nicest one to him.
Yeah, well, sort of. I mean, it starts off with it has the same structure as the original A Christmas Carol story from the 1800s, which is basically a run through of what happens to a person if he becomes too greedy, if he shuts everybody out, if he becomes too selfish. What kind of person does he develop into? And that is the same thing with Frank Cross. He has started out with a love and a passion for TV, which you see when you run into the Ghost of Christmas Past. When he runs into the Ghost of Christmas Past, he goes back to first his childhood, where you get an explanation of why he loves TV so much, and then
Yeah.
and then to yeah.
We haven't done this in a while. We're stepping over each other more than we usually do.
Yeah, yeah.
But he goes back, and he was basically raised by TV, and I don't want to get into the fine details because it is definitely worth seeing. It's one of those movies that we can't really spoil the jokes for you because the jokes are all in the presentation, and Bill Murray's performance and all the other actors do such a great job making that film what it is. It's one of those things. Yeah, it wouldn't be the same without Bill Murray, definitely, but everything is in place for this to be just an excellent comedy adaptation.
Yeah, and one of my favorite characters is actually, and Bobcat Goldthwait is in this movie, and he doesn't play. He plays that sort of frantic character, but he develops into that frantic character more during that movie, and I think he has a better character there than he did in any other of his '80s movies, which was basically just screaming and yelling and yeah.
Well, he plays Bobcat, and Bobcat is unfortunately the character they use to show how cruel Frank Cross is.
Yes.
Yes. Because Frank Cross, they show the advertisement for A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
And Frank Cross says, no, that's not good enough. And he shows one that talks about acid rain, violence in the street, drive-by murders on the highway, and Bobcat's character is the guy who goes, I don't think this is a good idea. We don't want to scare people during the holidays. It's unnecessarily graphic. And Frank has him fired.
Yeah. Without telling him to his face, because he just calls security. He calls Code 9, I think he calls it. And the decline of that character sort of, it shows the corporate. Oh, I think Artemis is here.
There you go.
The corporate sort of the coldness of corporate culture is showed very well in the treatment of the Bobcat Goldthwait character in Scrooged. So,
is there an analog is Bobcat is there an analog to him in A Christmas Carol? Because there's an analog to pretty much Tiny Tim is his secretary's son.
I can't really remember. It's been a while since I read A Christmas Carol, but I do seem to remember him. Well, not firing somebody, but treating that type of character in a very malicious way.
That was Cratchit, and that was his secretary.
Yes, Cratchit, but that is the father of Tiny Tim, and you have that in sort of his in his secretary and her mute son, basically. So I don't think that necessarily there is a character that reminds him of it, that reminds you of him, but it is a way of sort of showing the maliciousness.
I'm trying to catch up, and I'm kind of lost.
Oh yeah, we're talking Scrooge, the Bill Murray movie, the Christmas.
The Bill Murray version of Scrooge.
Yeah, Bill Murray's version of A Christmas Carol, basically.
Yeah,
and it's. Personally, I think it's one of the more underrated Christmas movies out there, because it shows very well how much Christmas has become like more of a corporate holiday than necessarily the family get together that it's supposed to be.
Well,
I think there were better movies for that. Honestly,
I think with Scrooge specifically, Scrooged is A Christmas Carol, and it has that same message,
Yeah.
which this is what the holiday is for. Uh, Charity, it's for family, it's for all this stuff. Uh, it's got that very moralistic tone to it, but it's all presented through the lens of Bill Murray and these other great. There's tons of character actors in it.
Yeah,
Um,
there are a bunch of really great actors, and there's also is they have taken a lot of creative license with the Christmas Carol story. They add an adversary into the mix instead of having just the ghosts there as adversaries. They also have the oh, what's that actor's name? The character oh, god damn it! I
it's the
watched this movie today.
it's the actor's John Glover.
Yeah, John Glover. That's right.
That's the character's name's
What did you say? You went away. Gene, you there?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was seeing. Did y'all lose me for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I had the thing open to it. It's John Glover's the actor, and a lot of people probably remember him from. He's been in tons of stuff, but he was the CEO in Gremlins 2.
Yes, that is correct. And since we now have talked about that actor, it's a perfect segue to move into Gremlins. Kind of. Well, sort of.
Gremlins is
Gremlins on the list.
Yeah, Gremlins on the list and then Die Hard.
Gremlins. I probably got disconnected again. Because
No,
I don't even.
you're still here.
Oh, good. I rambled on for no reason. No, Gremlins is just such. I love dark comedies.
Yeah.
And you don't get much darker than Gremlins, really.
Yeah. Gremlins is probably one of it's a movie where they just had an excuse to place a bunch of monsters in a Christmas setting, basically, but it works. It works because
It's almost. I'm guessing the juxtaposition's pretty deliberate there. Between.
I think the
What?
reason the movie worked was because of a mixing of genres.
Yeah.
Because at that point there really weren't like comical horror movies. And this, and its sequel not being a holiday movie itself, really, really like played around with that and played around with the concept of making the movie monster a joke. And it worked because, like, even as horrifying and as gross as the Gremlins actually were, they were still adorable.
Yeah. Well, when they were Mugwise, they were really adorable.
Stripe.
Yep.
No,
Dude.
Stripe was the man, and you know it.
I love 'em.
Yeah, and Stripe was cute until he changed. Then he became a
I
raving
thought they
lunatic.
were still. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Even as they were turned into monsters, there was an adorable factor to them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like a lovable scamp kind of evil, where they were still adorable and cute, but just evil in every way.
Well, it
Well,
is. It is based upon the myth of from I think it's World War II where people thought that creatures were inside the machinery, or the Japanese basically sent over creatures to the U.S. to sabotage their planes and so on. So very often a technical glitch would be referred to as a gremlin. So it's that kind of idea, and it's built upon that. So it is it's a very interesting thought, and it's a very interesting idea. Really, I love that movie. Gene, you were about to say something.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things that the cuteness plays into the fact that if you took that movie and tweaked it just a little, it becomes straight horror.
Yeah,
It becomes an
Yeah.
absolute nightmare. But yet somehow the goofiness of the villain monster and
They're
just
Muppets. They're puppets, and it's really really hard to not love puppets, even when they're made horrifying.
yeah.
I don't
It's
know, ventriloquist dummies.
oh
But that's
god.
that's different. Those aren't puppets. Those are ventriloquist dummies, and they are the root of evil. That's a clear distinction. But we're talking puppets. We're talking about these things could have showed up on Sesame Street hanging out with Oscar the Grouch. They they're adorable even in their monster form.
And then they would have taped the trash can shut and set it on fire. You know?
And that would have been funny. See what I'm going with here? They're all like they give, even with like their kills and their murders and whatnot. It's the same thing you get from later Freddy Krueger movies where they stopped being horror movies and started being comedies,
Yeah.
where the deaths were funny and interesting. Like, oh, that's all I would do.
Yeah.
Put yourself more into the body of the gremlins than the main character of the movie.
Yeah, and it keeps its spirit of fun, and it does have a few rather well-crafted, scary moments mixed in there too before things go haywire. But I was giggling to myself for a second there because I was just remembering the lady opening the door and the
Oh
gremlins outside
yeah.
caroling.
Yeah. Oh god, that is hilarious. Oh god.
Weren't they carol? Were they actually caroling a song, or were they singing the theme song?
They were singing. I think they were singing the theme song, because that they have a lot of meta jokes in that movie, or in that movie series. Basically, they have a lot of meta jokes. So
What?
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and then there is like out of nowhere, and it is just absolute. Y'all tell me if it's just me, but is the story that Phoebe Cates tells about her father, is that somehow when you think about it, not in context of seeing it in the film, hilarious?
Oh, it's hilarious.
You know,
It's
there's nothing
That's
funny about it, but I think back to the movie and I want to laugh
yeah.
before
that's
she tells
because you're a little bit demented, and you're not alone in this sentiment.
because I was like, that
'Cause I
story
agree.
is so dark and comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it comes completely out of left field. That story.
And
But it's
everybody's just kind of staring at her. Like when she's done telling the story, I don't know if anybody else was actually paying attention to her. Because wasn't something else going on when she decided to share?
Yeah.
well,
I mean,
yeah, it is. It is a very. I love that. It's weird because the '80s sort of Christmas movies are actually more. I guess it's because we're all three of us are kids of the '80s, so we sort of we remember these movies better because they're part of a childhood, but I can't see the same type of Christmas movie as Gremlins being made today, because there's so many jokes that people would.
They are made, but they're never pushed forward. They're like made for DVD, or you know they're usually independent movies, and you see them with the one movie with Goldberg as a murderous Santa Claus, which was funny as hell.
oh my god, that's what I was just thinking. Is it Santa's sleigh or
Yeah, Santa Slayer or something like that. and I can't remember the title of it, but I could just remember just how demented this movie was, where it was just it was so it's one of those that, it's so bad that it's entertaining movies, but there are tons of gems like this. They just never get mainstream. They never get put out like that. They never get, the Christmas horror movies aren't something that really they don't really do well in the box office, so they just kind of sit in the background now.
Yeah,
They
they
still
fade
get
out.
made.
Yeah. They fade out. I mean, the reason why we haven't been doing a podcast for a month is because I've been working on the side on a Christmas horror movie. So yeah, they still get
So you're
made.
trying to break the streak.
No,
Congratulations.
yeah, no, but it's the same. It's the same thing, and then the I it just feels like the type of Christmas comedies aren't being made either anymore. The not in the way that they used to be made.
Well, I think that's because they kind of got played out,
Yeah.
Well, I
and
mean,
people don't go to see them because it's generally the same thing, and there's so, like, when it comes to Christmas movies are have become a tradition. There's certain movies that you watch at Christmas because it's that time of year,
Yeah.
and you love these old Christmas movies, and so you don't want to go out and watch new ones that aren't going to be as good as, say, like, National Lampoon's, Christmas Vacation, and and these movies that are the holiday movies. You watch those. You don't generally go out to see new, Christmas comedies because they're not as good.
did either of y'all watch Krampus?
I think I watched like 15 minutes of it a long time ago.
Krampus would have made its mark with me if it were not for the last like 10 minutes of that movie. Because it didn't have what it needed at the end, which was a really ratcheting up of the ridiculousness.
Yeah.
It didn't go far enough.
Well, it's like it feels like, not to spoil, it has a very kind of standard modern horror movie ending.
Yeah.
And if it
Let me
had
guess, they stop Krampus and then they walk away into the sunrise.
no, the other cliche, the one where they actually all lose, and it's the other cliche. It's like
Oh,
yeah, but if I was sitting there and they all end up captured by the Krampus, yada yada yada. Spoiler alert, apparently. And what I wanted to see there at the end, when the kid learned his lesson about the holidays, what they needed at the end, what I was so wanting to see, was for just Santa Claus himself to show up with an axe and just take it to the nth degree and really just play out this the thing, instead of kind of just here's the end and it's done. It's what it felt.
Yeah. And since you mentioned Santa with an axe, well, he also has a machine gun in Die Hard. And
Oh, wow.
yeah.
that was a terrible segue.
I know. I shouldn't be doing segues at all. Well,
what is bad?
Yeah. Well,
What is bad? I was going to bring up the old lady getting thrown out of the window in Gremlins, and then segue to somebody getting thrown out of the window in Die Hard.
Oh yeah.
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 It's better,
But
but
instead-
not
That is better. That is better. But it's still, yeah. But it is still a Christmas movie. I mean, it's placed.
That's
during Christmas.
it's the cheap Christmas movie that everybody says so that they can seem edgy.
Yeah. And
But
the
would
first,
it have
yeah. Sorry.
would it have worked as well as that story? Would it have worked as well if it was just like an office party closing a business deal?
No, and here's the reason why. It's because it's all right. It works for the same reason kind of Gremlins works. It's a perversion of the holiday, because when you think holiday Christmas movie, your immediate reaction goes to, sickeningly sweet, you know, stuff a lot of the times. And here's this extremely violent movie um, that has Christmas as a background, not even the main plot about it, but the visuals are everywhere, and it's it hits harder for this group of people to come in and take over this building where it's like it's fucking Christmas. What's wrong with you guys? Like it,
That
it's
go ahead. Sorry.
it makes them evil. It gives them the why would you do this on Christmas? On
Yeah.
Christmas, it adds an extra edge on them that they're ruining people's holidays.
Yeah, and they amped that up in the sequel. They amped it up even more because they did it on an airport during Christmas, which is
So we
yeah.
have to ruin everybody's Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. You're taking everybody's fucking Christmas out by doing that. So it is, yes, as you said, it's a perversion of the holiday, but it's still kind of about the holiday because it is about the family. It's about him waiting for his wife, trying to fix his relationship.
It's a subconscious call to protect the innocence
Yeah,
of things. Because here's this, this cop who's, a wisecracking, sarcastic, like gruff, just tough as nails, dickhead cop, um, fighting to preserve what essentially is the innocence of this holiday deep down,
And
and what the holiday means to most people. And so it's this scoundrel kind of becoming the hero that um isn't the normal Christmas movie hero as well.
yeah. Gene?
I was gonna say, is it? And this may just be me. Is it that we've become a lot? The reason the Christmas uh, action movie or the Christmas horror movie or even the Christmas comedy kind of doesn't work as well anymore. Is it because we've all kind of gotten a little more jaded and cynical?
I,
you know,
I I would definitely agree with that. I think a lot of the holiday in itself has been lost and whatnot. And you look at stuff like Black Friday
Yeah,
and and just the holiday has become the opposite of what it is truly intended to be in the first place. And I
right.
think people deep down they know that and they realize that. So you can't really do the sweet kind of holiday movie much anymore. I mean, they don't really like if you look at like the movies that are releasing on Christmas and whatnot, and
Well, Oscar bait.
they're all Oscar bait. They're not. None of them are actual holiday movies because people
yeah, because
just
you no longer have seasonal movies apart
that's
from
why
yeah.
Die Hard isn't my favorite holiday movie anymore. My Christmas favorite Christmas movie anymore.
Oh,
It's been bumped off
by what?
by the greatest holiday movie of them all, Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Well,
Artemis is trying to warm our hearts.
yeah, but I
See
was
that, that
gonna.
that's exactly my point. The reason this movie is so important, um, is it is ever like if you go back and watch this movie, and a lot of people haven't done this, it predicted a lot of the way culture was going in this, where you have kids like worry nothing about the actual holiday and what it represents and the people around them, and you know talking about making lists for what the presents they're going to get and whatnot, and them making fun of the Christmas tree because it's not what they're supposed what's it's not what traditionally is supposed to be, but they want this bombastic perfect Christmas tree, and
Yeah,
it's not the point. And the how like Charlie Brown is such a lovable loser that it works in that you sympathize with him trying to deal with his own kind of views on what the holiday is even more, and a far deeper movie than people give it credit, because the entire movie is about him trying to figure out what Christmas really is about to him, and having to wade through a lot of the problems that the majority of people have to face during the holidays. And that's extremely humanizing.
Yeah, and the thing is that most of my, in addition to Charlie Brown Christmas, most of the really good Christmas stories, or the really good Christmas movies, like Scrooge, like Gremlins, like It's a Wonderful Life, they have a dark undertone, but it's still a kind of a happy ending. But it's learning about what Christmas
And
really is about.
Well,
and the movie also cheated. People don't realize how much that movie cheated with its musical score.
Yeah, yeah,
Because the music was so good and
well,
so perfect for this kind of demure kind of um because normally, like, when you think of Christmas movies, when you think of this happy, cheery, kind of happy-go-lucky music that's mind-numbing now because it's in every
yeah,
store you go into, and this is just this small, quiet jazz, contemporary kind of music, just echoing and mirroring, Charlie Brown's lukewarm kind of feeling on this holiday that's coming up,
yeah,
where it's just like, it's another Christmas.
well,
And
I mean, and you'll kind of speak to why I didn't enjoy Krampus as much as I thought I was going to. It's because look at the other movies we've kind of listed. Scrooge, it has the a Christmas Carol's ending. Die Hard, uh, the bad guys get gunned down. The the cop who never thought he'd be able to pull his weapon again, pulls his weapon and saves the day. All that gets nice and wrapped up. Gremlins, the good guys win. A lot of people died, but the good guys win, and it leaves you with a happy feeling leaving the film.
yeah,
You know, it leaves you with a positive feeling, and a lot of they'll go like I said with Krampus, and it's a good movie. I do recommend people watching it, but it just that end. It doesn't leave you with the feeling you're looking for, and kind of a horror comedy Christmas kind of thing. You know?
you want that kind of traditional kind of warm feeling that is really missing from people generally as a culture nowadays.
yeah,
And I think that's the problem.
And in Krampus, they did a really good job about this family. Like, they're all arrogant and jerks to one another, but when things really hit the fan, the actors do such an excellent job of making them look like they come together as a family and show that they really do love each other. And then you're going to end on that note. It's like, what are you doing to me? You know?
yeah, yeah. But
It's
yeah,
it's the kind of thing where you kind of watch holiday movies to feel better about how crappy the holidays are. And even though your family might be shitty, you've got Charlie Brown, you've got Die Hard, you've got Jingle All the Way.
Oh my God, Jingle All the Way.
yeah,
But it's the thing where you can kind of escape into what you feel Christmas should be, or what you Christmas want to be, and no, people just don't care. They don't.
yeah, and it's sad.
It sounds like we're ending on a downer.
Well, we'll end on a good note by recommending good Christmas
Well,
movies to
that's
people.
just the thing. There's no good new, really, in my opinion, Christmas movies,
No,
which is why you always go towards the classics.
yes,
It's You can watch, Christmas Vacation and Die Hard, and my God, Charlie Brown. That movie puts it so much into perspective that it's almost a mandatory watch
yeah,
if you want to understand what the holiday is about. And I'm saying this as a damn atheist.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
we try not to bring our politics or
Yeah.
religion up in the show too much, but I'm a Christian, and You know, when you got an atheist telling you that Charlie Brown Christmas, you know, that's the one that tells you about the season. You know, it's that universal feeling. It doesn't matter what you
Yeah,
believe. You know, you
even if
want,
you don't celebrate the holiday, you respect what the holiday is supposed to be.
Yes.
yeah.
And that's
And
why I want to recommend Scrooge, because it's all about redemption. It's all about turning that other leaf and becoming a better person.
I, I have to deduct points because it is a remake.
Yeah, I know, but it's a classic story still. So I totally understand your point, but it's still, I want to recommend Scrooge for this holiday. And
And
yeah,
and I am going to break the mold with the two serious picks there, and I'm going to recommend Santa's Sleigh, starring Bill Goldberg. Uh,
okay,
It is a
okay,
funny movie.
yeah,
It
the
is it's
it
demented and it's trying to be.
it is ridiculous. It is cheap. It is so over the top, and it's got a surprising number of comedians getting slaughtered wholesale in the first 10 minutes. Uh,
Yes.
you will know
That's
you
worth
want to watch the rest of the movie after the first scene of the movie. So put
yeah.
in Santa's Sleigh if you want a nice something to laugh at horror wise, and uh,
William
don't want to
Shatner
waste too
did
much
a
time.
horror movie, a Christmas horror movie not too recently. It was recent that I actually remember watching. I can't remember the name of it. Where it had Santa fighting zombie elves.
Oh God, that sounds like one of the promos from Scrooged.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like it had Santa fighting zombie elves. It had um an evil version of the Virgin Mary. Like they had three like a bunch of stories going on. It had a Krampus story going on too, and it was just really out there.
Yeah.
And so like you know, it's not as good as Santa Slay because Santa Slay is unadulterated schlock in trying to be.
Yep.
yeah, but I guess we've made our suggestions, and that'll kind of tie things up for the day.
Ar-
Santa Slay got on the list. Holy shit.
Artemis, you want to make a recommendation before we end?
I'm gonna go with the Charlie Brown Christmas because when they like even it's the only one of these holiday movies I could think of that outside like other than Die Hard, it's the only movie outside of Christmas that you would just watch to feel better.
Yep. Okay, take it away, Gene.
All right. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Tagline podcast. We will probably be back in January sometime with the holidays coming up, and Jan busy with work. We're probably not going to record another one this year. But you can catch Artevisira and Jan on the Unsolicited Opinions podcast on Friday afternoons at, I believe y'all are still starting at 2 p.m. East Coast time.
No, it would be
No.
at 4.
Yeah, 4
Okay.
East Coast.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm
Thanks,
gonna
buddy. Neither does anybody else.
Well, you can catch them at 4 o'clock if you happen to be listening to this. Thank y'all for tuning into the Tagline, and we will see y'all next year. Adios.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.